Hello and welcome back to the Pixel Street Podcast. This is episode 251 of the show. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joel Campos, and joining me is the man who wishes it was 50 degrees still, John Hanson.
Yeah, it's cold. It's real, and it's only going to get colder. At least
I
here it
don't
is. I
even
don't.
know. So, like, one of the things of working from home, which I'm sure you know, is like, I don't always check the weather. I don't know if
Yeah,
you're the same way. I take my dog out every day and that's how I know. But like I don't dread going outside that much because it's like I go outside 2, 3 times a day. So now I'm wondering, like, is it gonna get cold? Oh, yep. -2 degrees on Monday. So yeah, it's probably gonna be almost just as cold here, but a little later.
yeah. I'm trying to pull it up. My computer's being slow. I think it's here. Where's the forecast? Do. So right now it feels like 16 degrees here. Yeah, -4 on Sunday, I guess. So yeah, that's Iowa. That's winter.
Yeah, sorry. Um Sorry, so you didn't respond to my messages, so I reached out to Will to see what he was doing, and he just messaged me. So I was just telling him why I had asked, but we're good. Um, yeah, this week we're going to be talking about kind of just our 2024 gaming wish list in terms of stuff that we've heard about coming out, stuff we've heard about and don't really know if it's coming out or not, and just kind of some fucking wild cards, right? Like stuff
A
we
little
haven't
bit of
even heard
wish
anything
list.
about. Yeah, that we are just kind of hoping will come out. That among some other things. But first, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. You can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out the pin tweet there to find all of our social media links, including our Discord server. Um, we were supposed to do a Halo night. It just hasn't happened yet. We just got to find the time and pick a date to do it.
Hmm.
And I was gonna say next Friday, but I have my sister's gonna be visiting next Friday, so I don't know. In a few weeks, we'll do one for sure. But yeah, join the Discord to come hang out, play games with us. We've been playing a lot of Lethal Company, not in our Discord server, but with other people. So if you have that and you want to play, hit us up. We're always down. It's a great time. Um, yeah. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching for Pixel Street videos over there. And yeah, am I doing this right?
Sounds good to me. I mean,
Anyway, let's just get into our main topic of the show, which is what we want in from gaming in 2024, whether that's stuff. Let's talk about stuff that we know that has been announced first, right?
okay.
As coming, I don't know, should we say coming this year or just in
Yeah.
general?
And plan for this year, let's say.
Okay.
But I think before we go into that, let's just dive into the Xbox Direct because there's going to be a lot of
Okay.
stuff from this year talked about at that, and I know
Yeah,
that you want
so
to hit here.
so Xbox announced a developer direct for January 18th, which is a week from tomorrow, so next Thursday. Um, and yeah, so this is from the Xbox Wire. Sorry, I feel a sneeze. Oh man, that took a long time to come out. It was building up. Um, so yeah, Xbox to present developer underscore direct, returning on January 18th. You're about to get an exciting look at some of the incredible games ahead with Xbox as we present a new edition of Developer Direct on Thursday, January 18th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Fans will get an inside look at a selection of highly anticipated games coming to Xbox Series X, S, PC, and Game Pass. Shortly after, ZeniMax Online Studios will host the Elder Scrolls Online 2024 global reveal. Of course, they got to throw that in, right? I love how Elder Scrolls Online is like it's not quite a part of this, but we got to shout it out that it's happening
I think I'd
right
rather it
after.
be that way though. I
No,
like I really do
I
like it,
agree.
so
I
I like that they're doing that.
I agree. I just think it's funny. Um, But yeah, presented by the game creators themselves, Developer Direct offers an in depth look at upcoming titles, how they're created, and who's creating them. We'll visit Machine Games in Sweden to check in on their Indiana Jones game, swing by Obsidian's Irvine offices to see more from Avowed, head to Oxide Games' Maryland home to learn about Aura History Untold, which I didn't know anything about. I didn't know it was a thing. And take a trip to Cambridge, England to see Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 from Ninja Theory. Please note that while this show won't have updates on games from Activision Blizzard, you can look forward to news from those teams later this year. So yeah, we're getting Developer Direct. We're gonna see Hellblade. We're gonna see Avowed. Two huge, huge Xbox uh, first party games that are on the horizon. And now
Yeah.
I think it's safe to assume that those games are coming out this year. Um, considering when they
Well, they
did the
already said
director,
Hellblade is.
yeah, they did. But when they did the developer direct last year, every game they showed came out last year. So
Mm,
if
Yeah, I would.
you know
I would go
if they
into
keep
this
doing that,
expecting.
that would be assumed.
I would expect everything at this show to be at least planned for this year. Of course, delays happen, but I think they will go into this show and everything that they show off here, including a surprise that we'll get to here in a little bit. Um, I, uh, I expect it all to have a 2023 date, at least at the moment. Hellblade, I mean, we have to get a confirmed date on that by this point. At this point, all we know is the it's coming sometime this year. We know that we've seen enough trailers for it. Uh, the gameplay unfortunately doesn't look like it's been changed up as much as I was hoping it would be. But um, at this point, I'm just ready for it to come out. I'm ready to like see what's up with Senua now. As for Indiana Jones, I mean, we've talked about this before. You and I aren't really Indiana Jones fans. That's kind of before our time, and I don't really seeing this being like. Hopefully, it's a good game, but I don't really seeing it coming out and being like a game that I'm like, wow, I'm super excited for this.
Yeah,
Machine Games did great work with the recent Wolfenstein games, and Todd Howard is overseeing this as well. So I expect there to be good stuff here. I don't expect it to be a bad game by any means. It's just not something that I'm going into this year being like, yeah, I'm excited to see what's going on here. Um, it'll come out. It'll be a day one Game Pass game, and I'll play it. And maybe it will surprise me. Maybe it won't. Um, the Aura game, I also don't really remember that game at all.
I
I
have
don't
no idea
remember
what it
them
is.
talking about it. It must be a third party game that they just got exclusivity for. I just don't remember it one bit.
What was it called? Ara what? Let me look it
Something
up.
untold.
Oh, Ara History Untold. Oh, this looks like it's a I'm pulling it up on the pod stream right now. It's like a city builder type game. I vaguely remember them announcing this.
Oh
It
yeah,
looks
they
like
did.
a city skylines kind of game.
Mm. Okay.
But it looks
Yeah.
like you advance your civilization from like the beginning of time.
Yeah.
So it's
So
it's it's not it's not it's not like a city skylines where you're just building a city. It's more
it's
of you're
like
building a city and evolving it through history.
it's like Sid Meier's Civilization, except it's a single player. Like build up the thing, build up the
Dude,
city.
that's the thing. I don't know. It could be. I think so. At least that's what it looks
Yeah.
like. It doesn't look like you're attacking,
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. It's just like because
which I can get behind this. This could be cool.
yeah. No, that sounds cool. Uh, yeah. This is the kind of game that when I was a kid, when I was in school, I really enjoyed putting a lot of time into these games. But as an adult, I'm like, I still enjoy them,
I
but
don't have
it's
the
like
time.
I don't have the time. I
Yeah.
want I have other games I have to play with the time I have. So yeah, let's see. That was Indiana Jones. That was
Avowed is the other one.
Avowed. Avowed is a game that I starting out wasn't too excited for when they first announced it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just whatever. And then they showed a little bit of gameplay last year, and I was like, okay, this looks better than I thought it would. It looks kind of closer to the Outer Worlds, which is a game
Yeah.
I loved, just in a fantasy aspect. So that got me a little more excited. Seeing them go deeper in the gameplay here is going to be very exciting. I would so Indiana Jones. I'm just going to throw out some predictions here. Indiana Jones, I would say that would probably be a game that they want to push out in like October, maybe August, or not August, September or October. Avowed being a new IP, I think that's a summer game. Hellblade might be November. This Ara game, I mean, that could come out whenever. That could come
Yeah,
out
that could come
this
out
spring.
next week if they wanted to.
Yeah. Um, I so last year they also surprised us with Hi-Fi Rush, which is
Yeah.
my personal favorite Xbox game of last year, and I loved it so much. And I am kind of expecting another surprise drop here. Maybe not a new game like that, but I think it will be the leaked Elder Scrolls Oblivion remaster that we heard about last year with that huge Xbox leak that they did themselves. Um,
Yeah.
I think this would be a perfect moment to release something like that. We're not going to get any Activision announcements here. It's way too early in that acquisition for that to happen. So I think this will be like a Bethesda drop, like, hey, yeah, this here's that Oblivion remaster that we were working on, or here's the Fallout 3 remaster. It's going to be something like that. I think. I don't
John,
expect like
I am so excited for when they announce Activision Blizzard like, "Hey, all Call of Duty games are on Game Pass right now."
that
I'm
is one thing I think we could potentially see. Not all of them, but like we'll
yeah,
start seeing
but like
some
I'm just so
Game Pass
excited
stuff.
to like download a bunch of those games and just play online for like 2 hours each game, right? Because you
Mhm.
know those servers are going to be flooded like they were back in the day, and that just
Yeah,
seems like a lot of fun to me. And I'm going to get destroyed. I'm going to get absolutely manhandled playing those games online because there's probably a lot of people that are still playing those games daily and are just diehards for them.
those old warfare games are still fun to go back to and play sometimes. I have them all in my library. I could just download them now. But I'm with you that when they come to Game Pass, that's when people will start
Yeah.
downloading them again because it's in everyone's mind. So if there's any Activision or Blizzard announcement, I think it's that just like Game Pass
Yeah.
stuff. Not just Call of Duty, but you could like throw Crash in there, maybe Spyro. But I don't think you're getting any new game announcements or anything. If we see anything that's a surprise or brand new, I think it's from Bethesda. Maybe we'll hear something from what's one of the games that they showed off? Like South by Midnight, I think it was called. The one that they were like in a swamp and it was the girl talking to the zombie. Uh, yeah, that the one from Compulsion. Uh, that would be a really cool surprise. But those kind of games I expect to see at a summer showcase. Um,
Yeah, I think the fact that they just told us out front the 4 games that we should expect to see, I think that anything else outside of this would just be like a small surprise, like nothing
yeah,
major. Like
that's why
like you
I went ahead with the remasters I mentioned before. So
yeah, but I mean then again, those remasters could not come for a year or something. Like we just have
yeah,
no idea. Um
yeah,
but yeah, yeah, it would definitely be something small. I think that obviously the focus should be these 4 games and probably nothing else. Like I wouldn't be disappointed if we got nothing else because they just came out and told us like, hey, this is what we're showing.
I will say
Um,
last year's developer direct was really good. I enjoyed watching it. It was really cool
it
to see
had
the people
it
actually working on it,
it
talk
had
about it.
Forza, right? Forza was one.
It was
They
Forza
did a Starfield in
Redfall.
depth at the end, right?
No, that was
That
no.
was in the summer.
They said Starfield was coming later.
Oh, okay.
Um, so it was Forza, Redfall, Minecraft Legends, Hi-Fi Rush, and I think there was a fifth one. I can't
Oh,
remember.
Redfall. Oh, Redfall,
Oh,
John.
Redfall. Back when I had hopes for that game. Um, yeah, so I'm excited for this. I
Yeah. So since we're talking about Hi-Fi Rush, let's just talk about another piece of news. Rumors have been going around that Hi-Fi Rush may be coming to Switch as well as PlayStation in the future, and then just lately, the other day, um, it came out that Sea of Thieves might be coming to PlayStation. Um, which yeah, I don't know. Like I don't really care about that. I think it's cool. I love that they're opening these games to other fan bases. I don't understand the hate people are giving like for like, hey, you're giving up your exclusivity. It's like, yeah, you've had the game for a year. If you were gonna buy it, you were gonna do it by now.
They're not okay. So Hi-Fi Rush was my favorite Xbox game last year, but by no means is that like a console seller for Xbox. Like no one is going out of their way to buy. They do these things with the smaller games. I mean Minecraft was already a thing, but Ori, um,
Cuphead.
Cuphead, yeah, these smaller games they'll go to other platforms later on, and that's completely fine. Like I have no problem with this whatsoever. I want more people to play Hi-Fi Rush because that is a game that I think Tango Gameworks deserves to be uh they should be recognized for because that was a brilliant game. It was completely out of left field for them. We had no idea that was coming and it was brilliant. As for Sea of Thieves, my guess why they would bring out the PlayStation now, it's been out for what, 7 years now?
Yeah,
I
has it been
wonder.
7 years?
It's been a long time.
I'm gonna look it up.
Uh,
Keep going.
I would guess that maybe they're starting to see the player numbers dwindle on Xbox and PC, and they want to like put it out on PS5 to see if, or PS4 and PS5 to see if they can put a jolt into that community, maybe because that is a game that you need online for. It wouldn't make much sense to put that game on Switch, where Hi-Fi Rush. I'm like, okay, yeah, that could live on both those platforms. Sea of Thieves being so online centric, I just don't see that doing well on Switch.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Sea of Thieves came out March 20th of 2018. So we're coming up on the
16.
6 year anniversary
Okay.
of that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense, right? Like now, if Sea of Thieves was launching day and date on a PlayStation console as well as an Xbox console, yeah, there's like it's iffy, right? Because like it is supposed to be a first party game. But yeah, the fact that this game's been out for 6 years and now they're talking about potentially putting it on PlayStation, like yeah, why not? Like why wouldn't you want more people to play with? Like personally, I have a lot of friends, like my whole raid group, they all play on PlayStation. And if
Mhm.
like a few of them said, "Hey, we're going to pick up Sea of Thieves and play it." I'd be like, "Hell yeah, let's go." Like I want to play too. Like I love Sea of Thieves. I think it's such a good game, but I don't have anybody to play with. That's the problem.
Well,
It's so hard to get anybody to be like, "Hey, you want to download a 6-year-old game and play with
not
me?" It's like,
really.
not really. So, but
It,
hey, they
it,
updated a bunch of stuff. So
yeah,
yeah,
they did.
when was
They
the last
added a
update?
lot.
A
There's a
year and a
lot of
half
good
ago.
stuff, but I mean, it's a very much you love it or you don't game. Like it,
Yeah,
you say you love it, I get into it and I can play for a bit, but I get bored in that game really easy. Um, Yeah, no. And again, Sea of Thieves is not a console seller for Xbox. Now, if
you might have had an argument for it at one point when like Xbox was in a drought of no exclusives, and Sea of
yeah,
Thieves was like the hottest thing they had going, but
yeah,
that was a very small window.
it's not. We're not talking about Starfield. We're not talking about Halo, Forza, like these games that are like these are the big gets for Xbox. Hi-Fi Rush, as much as I love it, it doesn't really matter if people can play it
The
on Switch and
the
PlayStation.
crazy thought that came through my head just now is there could be a debate that Halo is not a console seller. Like a new Halo game would not be a console seller because like this last game kind of burned everybody, right? Like
Ah,
Halo Infinite now is a great game. Multiplayer
yeah,
is great now. But like what's to say if they announce a new Halo game that like everybody's going to have reservations on it, right?
I would say the same thing with the Master Chief Collection. And when Halo Infinite was announced and people saw it, everyone got excited. So I'm not ready to go that far yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Halo was missing a lot of features when it first came out.
Yeah. We still loved it when it first came out. We just got bored of it quick.
Like, and by quick you mean like a week.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So yeah, that's about all the news we have to talk about this week. Do we want to go into the announced games now that we're excited for?
Um, yeah, I'll start with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now that I have a PlayStation account again, I can be excited for this game.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I can't fucking wait, dude. I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah. Um.
I'm
I
pulling up the
I
release schedule for the year.
okay. Yeah. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I still haven't finished the first one remake. It's just called remake, right? Yeah. Um. I'm not very far in that at all, and at this point, I don't know if I'll ever go back to it. Um. That's a good
Yeah.
game.
Another one coming out this month that like it's I wouldn't say it's a new release. Technically, it is. But Last of Us Part Two remastered. I think I'm gonna pick that up because I've been replaying. I have a few friends that are like super into the Last of Us TV show, and we're like 75% through the first game. And without spoiling this, like I told them, I was like, you have to play the second game before the show comes out because like first of all, we don't know how season 2 of The Last of Us is going to go of the show, right? Because Last of Us Part 2 is a whole thing where you play as one character, then you play as another character through the same timeline, and it's like I don't know. It's going to be a whole thing. But yeah, I'm excited to pick this up just to play with them because they don't have PlayStations, but they're very excited to like see this story through. So, I'm excited. And I think you can just pay like I think it's $10 for the upgrade or something like that or $20. So, they did it right this time as opposed to last
This
time with The
time
Last of
they
Us
did.
Part 1. Yeah.
So
Where
stupid.
Last of Us Part 1 remaster, I just waited for a sale. Was it? No, Last of Us Part 1, it was a remake technically.
Technically, yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to play it with them.
Yep. For this month, there is one game that comes out next week that I can't really talk about because I reviewed it and it's under embargo until tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So check out Game Sandwich for that. I'll say the name. It's Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, but I'm not going to
Cool.
talk about why I'm excited for that game or not. You should check out my review. Besides that, I'm very excited for Apollo Justice Ace Attorney trilogy. You know me, I've really gotten into the Ace Attorney games in the recent years. And this game is another collection of 3DS games that is being remade for consoles and stuff. Uh, and there's one of them in there that I haven't played yet. The other two I have, and I really love them. They're probably my favorite in the series. So usually I'm not the kind of person to go back and play a game unless I really loved it. These games were some that I was like, okay, yeah, especially if I'm getting achievements this time, I'll go in and grab them. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
gonna be
you're super into those like reading sims. I don't know, like what are those called?
uh I don't I don't know if I would say I'm super into it. I just think that the Ace Attorney story in particular is so well made that I get into it. Like you can't
Gotcha.
just give me a graphic novel is what they're called. You can't just give me like a random one and expect me to pay attention to it and like
You know
be
what I
really
thought about like 2 days ago was when we did our playthrough of Doki Doki Literature Club. And that game takes a turn, and then at one point it just like tells you your name,
hmm
and even though it hadn't said your name the whole game, and it just read
hmm
it from like your system memory, that's
Yep.
fucking nightmare fuel, man.
Yeah, it was great.
That was cool. Check that out on our YouTube channel if you're interested.
Yeah.
February, John. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is coming out on
Oh,
February 2nd. This game had previews come out, I think it was today or yesterday, and
yesterday.
man, it does not sound good. Like, I feel like it's rare that previews like this for a game come out and it's like pretty unanimously bad, right? Like,
hmm
typically you have people like you'll have some people saying like they didn't enjoy it that much, and you have some people that are like, yeah, we didn't really see too much of it, but I'm excited to see what's coming. But it very much seems like at least most of the previews of this are like pretty negative on what this game is going to be. And
Yeah.
honestly, John, I'm not surprised. I'm
I'm
not
I'm not really
surprised.
either. After everything that we've seen since this game was announced, it's not surprising whatsoever. This at this point, I'm just going into this release hoping that it doesn't do too much damage to Rocksteady, that not too many people lose their job, that the studio doesn't get shut down because I think they're tremendously talented. And they've been working on this game for like 9 years. Like
I think
this
I
could
think we've
be
talked
a
in the past.
disaster.
I think we've talked in the past about like game developers who like grew up and through school were playing, the Batman Arkham games
Hmm.
and got a job here thinking like hell yeah, I'm working for them, gonna make gonna keep doing making these games I love, and then they're like, all right guys, f- live service game like Destiny, UI everything's gonna look like Destiny, but it's gonna be a Justice or Suicide Squad game, and everybody's gonna be very lukewarm on it when we announce it, and then we're gonna delay it because the reception is so bad. It's like, oh man, this is just like it's got to be heartbreaking for some of those devs at that company.
It everything is setting up for disaster for this game, and I don't like seeing that because
Yeah,
I I only want the best for Rocksteady, um, especially considering how much I love Batman and their work on the Arkham games. Yeah, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it turns out being much better than we think it will be, but it just doesn't look good. And like I haven't watched anyone's like preview coverage. I've just like seen screenshots, and it's just like the UI in that game, man. It's just everywhere. Like when at any time the screen is just completely covered with all these different um symbols and stuff on your screen, and I'm just like this looks, yeah, this is a live service game. This is doesn't look any it doesn't look special in any way whatsoever. And that's disappointing coming from this developer.
yeah. Coming out February 8th is Helldivers 2, John. I'm kind of excited to see how the reviews go for this game.
Yeah.
It's just a third-person shooter. That's all I really know about it. I never really played a Helldivers game, but I know people loved the old ones, and this is a different kind of game. I think
Hmm.
before it was like a top-down kind of like, I don't know if it was like a dungeon crawler kind of game or what it was, but I know it's in a different style than the old one.
February 16th, Mario versus Donkey Kong. Uh, that remake is coming to Switch.
I completely forgot about that. What
I
even is that game?
It's a puzzle platformer. It originally came out on the Game Boy Advance, and it's a game I really enjoyed back then. It's not special. It's not an amazing game. I'm not saying go out of your way to buy this, but it's a game that I'm definitely gonna be like, yeah, I'm playing this. So just to kind of relive my young teen years, I want to say is when it
I'll probably
came
show
out.
Elise a video of this and then end up buying it because she'll probably want to play it because she just loves
It's a
anything Mario
it's a good game.
except for Mario
Skull.
RPG. I don't think she would like Mario RPG.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that might be a bit much. The same day, apparently, Skull and Bones is coming out. Are we? Do we
I we're
think it's
just
actually going to be
I'm
that day yet?
we're not even talking about it. Let's move
No.
on.
Good.
Well, I'll believe it when I see John. I can't wait to watch people play this game. I can't wait to see reviews on this game. That's all I'm gonna say because it could go either way. I feel like this is either gonna come in at a mild 7 or it's gonna come in at a 3. I don't think it's coming any higher than a 7.
Remember when Loops said that he was more excited for Skull and Bones than God of War Ragnarok? He said that was the better game that was coming out back when Skull and Bones release date was originally the same day as Ragnarok. Oh man,
That guy.
that guy.
Yeah, let's move on.
In March, another Nintendo Switch game. This one's new, Princess Peach Showtime. This might be a game that you want to get Elise into because it
You'll
is
probably like it.
a game starring Princess Peach, and it actually
This
looks
is the
pretty
new one,
cool.
right?
Yeah, the new one. It looks like it's played out on like a stage, and she gets her powers from these different costumes she wears. So like, I don't
This
know
is
that. That
This
looks
is one of
interesting.
the two first party Nintendo games we know coming to Switch this year, right? There's only two, I believe, right?
So there's Mario versus Donkey Kong, Princess
Well,
Peach
that's a
Showtime.
remaster. I'm talking about like new
Oh,
game.
new games that we know of.
I think
What's the
it's
other one?
this. And isn't there Luigi something? Luigi's
That's
Mat.
also
Oh,
a remake.
that's a
That's a
remaster. Yeah, never.
remake.
Is this the only one?
The only one we know about right now. So Nintendo likes to have a big direct in February, and that's where we'll figure out like their big
Switch
first
two,
party.
Switch two, Switch two, Switch.
That's
Dude, I
the
fucking
hope.
hope. I
We'll
can't
talk
wait.
about that in. Let's talk about that in the unannounced section. We're
Okay,
still
okay,
talking
we'll
about
talk about that. But and then I remind me, I have a cool. What's the section we? I forget what we call the segment where we show off. Show me what you got,
yeah.
and I have something to show you for that
Okay.
related to the
Um,
Switch.
Another game coming out in March, South Park Snow Day. Now, this is not a game I'm excited for. I think this game looks ugly as hell.
I haven't
Uh,
really watched the trailer or anything. I just know it's in the same like technical universe of playing as the new kid,
yeah, and Stick of
as the
Truth
first
and the
Stick
Fractured
of Truth
Butthole.
and Fractured Butthole. So I'll probably try it at some point. Probably not at launch, but yeah, I just
I
those games were so fucking funny to me. Um,
so I love Stick of Truth. I'm not a South Park fan. I think the show is it has its moments where it's funny, but overall, I'm just like, okay, you're it's not as amazing as some people say. But I loved Stick of Truth. This game doesn't look anything good to me at all. Um,
anything good.
anything good. And
It has like those N64 type graphics almost,
yeah,
like in the South Park game in that.
it does remind me of the N64 South Park, which was also a very bad game. Um,
I
looking
played it.
through, I'm looking through the games that have been announced, but they don't have a release date yet.
Rise of the
Uh,
Ronin coming in March. I know that's one people like.
and we talked about Hellblade. Do.
Destiny 2 The Final Shape coming in June. I'm excited for that. But that's just me being a Destiny whore. That's pretty much it, huh?
Yeah, we're not. We'll talk about it here in a second, but
We
there's
already
not a
talked
lot
about the Xbox stuff that we
coming.
think is coming.
Yeah, Multiversus is supposed to come back at some point this year, but I don't know. Obviously, that situation is so weird. When that game comes back, like, what is it gonna be? Like, how are they gonna change that up to really justify taking it down for how long? A year and a
It's
half?
gonna be a kart racer when it comes back.
Yeah, just something completely different. Paper
That
Mario:
was
The
so
Thousand
weird.
Year Door, I am very excited for. That's back. That is probably my favorite Mario RPG game. Back when the Paper Mario series was amazing, like the N64 and the GameCube game, which is Thousand Year Door, are both just truly great games. I'm so excited that that is coming back. Um, as for these other games, it's kind of like we don't know for
Nothing's
sure if it's
sticking out.
coming out this year. Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws. We don't have a date for that. It's supposed to come like there was like some hint that it might be later this year, and that game looked good, better than you probably expect it to. I think coming from Ubisoft. Um, yeah, that's yeah.
So
Let's get
that's pretty
into
much
on it.
everything we know about.
Yeah.
John, do you think we see Metroid Prime 4 at all this year?
Yes, I do. Actually, I made a prediction on GameSandwich.com. I had a whole 8 predictions for 2024 article that I put up, and I think that Metroid Prime 4 will be a day one launch title for the next Switch. It's going to do the same thing that Zelda's done in the past, where it's available for both consoles.
That would be pretty cool. Um, can you believe that this reveal trailer came out 4 years ago or 6 years ago? 2017.
7 years ago, coming up.
Coming up on 7 years. Yeah, isn't that
Yep.
fucking crazy? When they just showed us the fucking
It
the
came
name of
out
the game.
It came out just a few months after the Switch launched.
That's insane to me, man. That's crazy.
It's been a long time.
That is
Um,
so crazy.
yeah. No, I think this is the perfect time with the new Switch coming out that I my guess is that's going to be a day one title. Um,
That would be awesome.
yeah. Let's just stick with Nintendo here. Are there any other games that you think that they'll announce that you'll be like, oh yeah, cool. Whether it's for the Switch 2 or just the normal Switch this year. I think we'll get an announcement for a new 3D Mario and Mario Kart 9. One of those I think will be a day one title, but the other one I think will be like a month or two after the Switch 2 launch.
Are they done releasing all the Mario Kart 8 stuff?
Yes.
They finished that finally? I didn't know if the last one came out.
Yeah, it did.
That's a weird thing. It's with Nintendo, you never know.
Yeah.
You never
Uh,
know.
no, I think because Mario Kart 9 is, I mean, that's their hot ticket item after Mario Kart 8 has sold, what is it, 51 million copies or something
If
ridiculous.
it would be insane if the next Switch released with Mario Kart 9. Like because like if you think about it, like there's so many people have the Nintendo Switch already, right? And it's
Hmm.
hard to get people to upgrade to the new, the new hotness when they're like, "Oh, I already have all these fucking games." But if they're like, "Hey, Mario Kart 9's only on the new Switch," like, you know how many fucking people would immediately pre-order that thing just
Yeah.
for that reason alone?
And it's not a Metroid Prime 4 situation where that game was promised for the regular Switch. Mario Kart
Yes,
9 could be an exclusive.
exactly. Yeah. I it makes on a business front that makes perfect sense. And honestly, if that's not a launch game for the Switch to begin with, I think that there's no doubt that Mario Kart 9 goes Switch 2 or Pro, whatever you want to call it, only, right? Like
Hmm.
no matter what, I think that that game is only released on that future console. Do we think that it'll be cartridge based like the Switches, like that? Because like at the very least, it has to have a port to play Switch games, right?
Yeah, I think it will. But I think it'll be kind of like with the PS5 and the Series X. That I mean, there's still disc, but if you like try and put a PS5 game into a PS4, it knows that it can't play that game. So I think it'll be something like that.
Or do you
Um,
think it'll be like a Nintendo DS thing where you have the Game Boy Advance slot in the bottom and then the new cartridge slot on top?
that would be really funny.
That would be funny. Or like they're just like next to each other
Nintendo
because
Nintendo 100% would do something like that.
they would
Like
because like
the new Switch cartridges instead of being like that
they're just like slightly
that long,
wider.
they're just like a little bit. Yeah.
So so
100%
so
they
like my thing is like I don't know much about like the tech behind cartridges or anything, but I would imagine there's only so much you can fit on that size of cart. You know what I mean? So I'd imagine at some point they have to expand it to make it a little bigger in some way to hold like more storage for these higher fidelity games that they're planning for a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro.
yes, back in the day. There's been enough increases lately that now Switch cartridges, every single one has a different size amount of memory on it. And if it's a higher size, that's why a company has to pay more for those to be produced. So that's why you see a lot of games, let's say the Resident Evil trilogy
Digital only.
collection that they did, where they put one game on the cartridge and then the other two they put in a code in the case.
See, that's fucked up. I hate that. I would rather
Mhm.
you just go all digital at that point.
Yep. So yeah, that's why companies do that. But yeah, yeah, we'll see. Do you have any other Nintendo Switch guesses? Because we're not gonna see Zelda unless it's a re-release of like Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. Please,
I think
please.
that'd be I think so. As you know, I don't play a lot of Zelda games, but Wind Waker, the art style of that has always appealed to me. Like when I bought my Wii U, it came with Wind Waker, a digital
Mhm.
copy, and I started it. I just never got around to playing through the whole thing, but that art style was awesome. and I would love to
Wind
play through
Waker
that.
is so good. It is in there with my favorite Zelda games ever. Yeah, no, I hope that comes. I've been hoping that for years though, and I still haven't seen it. Um, Going through the list of other Nintendo IP, I don't think we'll see a Kirby game. Star Fox and F Zero appear to be dead, although maybe we'll like see them. We'll see like a Nintendo GameCube library brought to the Switch too.
I wish, man.
With the online stuff. I hope so too.
Those
Um,
online stuff, they've been pretty quiet for the last few months. They haven't really added much to them, have they?
that's why I'm saying wait for February.
That would be
Um,
cool. Yeah, I'm just waiting
yep.
for the announcement. Like all these Pokemon games are coming to that
S-
service. It would be so cool.
Still
Granted, like
amazing.
I could play all those games already, but
I
like
can't
not on an OLED screen.
can't believe that they haven't put one on there yet though.
Yeah,
Not even one.
I in
Ridiculous.
in my head that means they're planning something for them, whether
There,
it's we're
there
bringing them to the
is.
service or we're gonna fucking throw them all on one cartridge the way we did Super Mario 3D All Stars and just release them that way, sell them to people $60 a pop. That
Mm,
would be fucking awesome. But yeah,
yeah,
Will is in the chat and he says all new games will be loaded on small solid state drive floppy disks. Calling it now.
that 100% would be a move that they would make
Yeah.
as well. We do need more storage space in the new Switch, whatever that is. Internal space. Obviously, you still need to leave room for an external card, but yeah, I. What would we? What the Steam Deck has 128 and 256, right? Or is it
um,
128 the top?
it's 128, 256, and 512.
And they have 512. Okay.
Because I think mine has 512. Yeah, mine has 512.
With Nintendo, I wouldn't go that big. Rumors are that this new console will cost about $400. I would be fine with 128. I think that is manageable, um, but we'll see. Obviously, yeah, I would be fine with 128. Anything is better than 32 at this point. But yeah. All right, so we went through all of Nintendo. How about let's go through PlayStation? Any unannounced games that you want to see them announce this year? Because right now, PlayStation is
They
pretty
have
barren.
nothing. They have
They've
nothing.
got Final Fantasy
They have
7
Helldivers
Rebirth.
too, John. Helldivers 2 is on that
Helldivers 2. I
list.
haven't even seen that. The Last of Us 2 remaster.
Remastered.
And we know that Wolverine is planned to come out by the end of this year. What else could they possibly show? I have one prediction, although I think I've predicted it in the past as well and it hasn't come true. I think this is the perfect time this year. 2024 is the perfect year for a new Twisted Metal game to be announced, at least. I don't know if it would actually come out yet, but after the show came out last year and was pretty good, a lot better than a lot of people saw, and we know how much Sony is getting into the live service action. Twisted Metal is perfect to be announced this year. And I hope so bad that they don't mess it up. Like I want a good Twisted Metal game in 2024. I really hope it happens. Besides that, I think God of War Ragnarok is done for sure. They said no DLC and then they released the Valhalla thing, but I think now Ragnarok is done. Horizon, I think the next Horizon game can be announced this year.
You think they
Um,
announced the whatever the multiplayer thing is?
that is actually what I was going towards. Was I think that would be announced at whatever state of play comes up if they ever decide to do those again. When was the last time they did that? Like last summer? It's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know.
yeah, Horizon. We know Silent Hill 2, that remake is might be coming out this year. There was a Konami thing that said that both the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake and the Silent Hill 2 remake are supposed to come out this year. And I think that's a PlayStation exclusive. The Silent Hill one is. I know Metal Gear isn't. Um, that one I'm a little worried about I'm not gonna play it because I'm not getting into that horror nonsense. Like, no way. But if you're a horror fan and you're excited for that game to come out, I would be a little bit iffy about it, considering one, it's Konami, and I really think that they'll interfere with Blooper Team's development. Hopefully, I'm wrong, but I would be very. I wouldn't just jump in. I wouldn't throw all my money at that game and be like, "Yeah, give me this." Just seeing how Konami has operated over the course of how long ago did Kojima leave? 8 years, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. It's been forever at this point. Um,
Yeah.
I, I, I would just caution people to be very uneasy about Silent Hill 2.
It's just it's hard for me to get excited for anything because I like every time I think of something I'm like, oh, like it'd be cool if we saw a Ratchet and Clank game, but like we kind of already know the
Well,
answer to
now we
that.
know. We know that Ratchet and Clank is coming within the next few years.
Yeah, but
Um,
that doesn't mean this year.
yeah, no, it's not this year. I don't think we'll have it announced this year.
Yeah.
It just put, of course, that Insomniac leak put them in a tough spot, but I think it also put PlayStation in general in a tougher spot because when you see that, okay, they have the Wolverine game coming out this year, but we don't know anything else, you have so many people like me that's like, what are they going to offer? Is
Yeah.
is House Mark gonna put out a new game this year? When did what was their last game called? Returnal.
Returnal?
Yeah, when did that come out? Was that 3 years ago? Like, I feel like that's a
I
little too
think so.
soon.
It came out April 30th of 2021, so
Yeah, so
two and a
3
half
years ago.
years ago, 3 years. Yeah.
So maybe they could put out something. I guess.
Dude,
Uh,
Destruction All Stars 2.
you shut your fucking mouth, okay? Remember when there was reports that they were gonna make a new Twisted Metal, and I got
You got
so
so
mad.
mad. You got
I was
so mad at that.
I was so mad. Oh man. Uh, what's the team that do all the remakes? They
Blue
did
Point?
Blue Point. They could probably announce something new.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
I don't know. It's just like what other PlayStation exclusives could there be? Like we know there's not going to be a Last of Us thing.
yeah.
Um
We
there's
haven't heard
not
from
going to
Ben
be.
Studios in a long time.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean like there was a thing like last year about Ben Studios coming out and saying like, "Well, we can't make a Days Gone 2 because you guys didn't support it enough," or
Yeah,
something along those lines.
so they're making
Um
something different.
yeah, but like
Although
what could it be?
I also remember, I think it was in 2020, there was a report that they were trying to make The Last of Us Part 1 remake, and Sony
And it
turned them
didn't go
down.
well.
Yeah. So, who knows what's going on with Ben Studios.
Yeah,
Did you know
like
did you know
Twisted
that Ben
Metal is a good call.
Yeah, I think Twisted Metal is probably the one I'm hoping for the most from PlayStation. A Horizon multiplayer game, I'm not. I don't know. Maybe they
What
could
about
make it interesting, but the
do you,
fact that the Last of Us factions got canceled and is just not happening at all, I'm just like, I don't trust PlayStation with their live service model right now.
what about Marathon?
Didn't that get
Technically
delayed
PlayStation?
indefinitely? And Marathon is coming to everything. It's
Yeah,
not a PlayStation exclusive.
but it's technically a PlayStation game.
Yeah. Um, I don't know with Bungie either at this moment. Like, they seem to be in a bit of a tumultuous spot considering all their layoffs and how they're just, I don't know. They've got Destiny and, well, obviously we have Marathon to look forward to, but like maybe they'll show more of it, but I don't think it's coming out this year.
Yeah, I don't think we get it this year. I just think that we get more of it. But yeah, I think given what we've seen from Xbox so far, just their announcement of, hey, these are the 4 games you can expect to see next week in this developer direct. I think Xbox is in a great spot right now to, have a better first party lineup than Sony will have this year.
Coming
Which
up,
is very rare in the last
yeah,
6 or so years.
I'd say longer than that. I would say the summer showcase that they have this year, I'm expecting that to be a huge show for Xbox because I think one will get updates on games that are like coming years down the road, like they always do. But I think we'll also start seeing some things where, oh, Fable, boom, here's a ton of gameplay and here's a release date. Um, Perfect Dark, I mean, maybe we'll get an update. State of Decay 3, like those kind of things. I'm not necessarily expecting those to release this year. I'm hoping. I hope Fable does, and I hope State of Decay 3 does. But at the very least, I need to see an update on them. I need to
Yeah,
see gameplay, not just cinematic
yeah,
trailers.
honestly, all I need to see is more of it, and then just at the end, 2025, right? That's all I need to like ease my mind. Like, all right, this game, like, we can see where they're at right now, like whatever they're ready to show, and as long as they tell us, like, hey, you're getting this next year, right? I think that's good enough for me. Now it's when they show you something, and then they're like, it just doesn't say a date of any kind, even a year. That's when it's like, oh well,
That's
this fucking
worrying.
thing's never coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's so many games for us to go through on the Xbox side now with Activision and Bethesda included, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
PlayStation's iffy. I don't know. Like,
I don't know about PlayStation.
yeah, Ghost of Tsushima 2, maybe? Maybe we see something about it?
I feel it's way too early for that though. That came out in what, 2020?
Let me look.
I think it was like right before PS5. Maybe it was 2019.
It came out July 17th, 2020. So about 4 years, 3.5 years ago.
Okay, that one's possible.
Yeah,
Um,
given what that game is, I think that it's
what
definitely possible to
they
come out
do
with a
have
sequel.
they do have another samurai game coming out this year though.
Oh, the one that looks like Ghost of Tsushima, but is more
Yeah,
like
the one
spiritual.
that they showed it at the Game Awards. I'm like, oh, it's a new Ghost of Tsushima game. Oh no, it's
Yeah, I
not.
forget what that is. Oh, is that Rise of the Ronin? Is that what we're talking about?
That's it. Yeah, yeah, Rise of the Ronin. So maybe they wouldn't do that because, I mean, do you really want to put two samurai games out in the same year?
Dude, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know, man.
This is the first
It's
time in maybe a decade that I've looked at PlayStation's library and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what is every year there's, I mean, okay, we you and I are both excited for the Wolverine game. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that's easy to say. But like there's just nothing else made from Sony. Obviously you like Final Fantasy. I just don't look at them and especially when you consider the live service initiative that they're on right now, I can't look at them right now and be like, yeah, you have um my full honest support on this. Like I
I
believe that you can do this and walk away greater than you were before. Like I just don't have that kind of optimism around them right now.
I so what I think happened is Sony put all their eggs in the live service multiplayer basket at one time, like I don't know, 1 year, 2 years ago, and maybe even longer than that. And now we're starting to see the ramifications of, oh shit, these games are not what we wanted them to be. And I think they bought Bungie as kind of a last ditch effort to come in and say, hey, are these games good or bad? If they're bad, how can we fix this, or can we even fix it? And Bungie came in and told them like, yeah, these are the ones that are bad, and
Yeah.
honestly, we don't know what you could do to fix them or whatever, and that's why they canceled The Last of Us and other projects that were unannounced. And I think now we're starting to see the ramifications of that because like Last of Us Factions, if everything was great, it probably would have been releasing this year because we first saw it 2 years ago at the Game Awards at this point.
Yeah.
So I
Probably
think
should
that
have
that's
been a
what's
red
happening over there.
Probably should have been a red flag after Druckmann said, "Oh, we're going to show this next year at next year's summer game fest," and then there was just
Yeah.
nothing. um, yeah, I'm not too optimistic about 2024 for Sony from a
Yeah, I
exclusive standpoint.
that's pretty much everything. Like I don't even know like it's hard to get my hopes up for anything from any of these companies anymore. Like Sony, we already talked about because like we don't know, like they don't have anything right now to
Hmm.
show. Um, Xbox is like they pretty much told us today with the announcement of the direct what we're going to be getting this year, right? Like I'm not expecting them to come out be like, "Oh, Fable's coming out in November like in the summer." Like that's just not going to happen. Um so yeah, like in Nintendo is a wild card. They always have been. No idea what the hell they could show. Obviously, we're just excited for a Switch 2 and whatever comes along with that cuz like it's very obvious Nintendo is a very steady company in terms of like first party releases, and we're at a point right now to where everything they're releasing is pretty much a remaster outside of that Peach game or
Hmm.
a remake, remaster, whatever they are. But
They're definitely pulling off the switches at the end of its cycle. So
yes, yeah, it's very obvious. So whatever they have, they're holding to announce until the Switch successor or Switch Pro, whatever the fuck it's gonna be, is
mhm.
announced. So yeah, that's our gaming wish list for 2024, and I'm sure this is gonna change a lot throughout the year as stuff gets announced or gets canceled or delayed. Um, but yeah, John, I want to show you a gaming collectible real quick
Okay.
before we talk about what we've been playing. So Elise got me this for Christmas, and this is related to the Switch, and I fucking love it. You ready?
Okay.
This is called the Nitro deck. You've probably
Oh,
seen
I've
it.
seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. That's awesome.
It's so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
It pretty much turns my Switch into a Steam Deck. Um, yeah, and it's so comfortable to play on. It's got back paddles. I used them a little bit when I was playing Fortnite on my couch. Um, yeah, this thing's been fucking great. It's so
Yeah.
cool. And the fact that she got me the GameCube colored version is badass. I
That
love
is
it.
awesome. That's cool.
But yeah, Switch 2. You know what I mean? I'll be buying another one of these bad boys right away as soon as they come
Right.
out.
I'm I'm just really looking forward to that February direct. They always have it, and it's always probably the biggest direct of the year for Nintendo. So I think
That would
that's
track with when they announced the Switch, right? They announced the Switch in March, February
November.
or March. Oh, November.
They announced it with a random trailer in October, and then they had an event to actually show it off in November, and then it released in March.
But I mean, they don't really do stuff like that anymore, right? Because I remember that November event was one where like IGN and a bunch of like press flew out to go to the event live, and they
Yeah,
don't really do stuff like that anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just announce it
they
in
haven't released
February. At the
the console since then, so who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, let's move on to what we've been playing, John. I beat Alan Wake 2 last night.
Oh baby, it's so good.
It's a great game.
Mhm.
I revisited my top games of last year, and this is my number 3 game of last year.
Nice.
I still enjoyed Final Fantasy and Spider Man more. But yeah, this game is great. Like I wish that I had played this game before I saw everybody posting about the whole We Sing or level chapter, because it was just so cool, and I had already listened to the song so many times before playing it. Whereas like if I experienced that for the first time just playing the game, it would have blew my goddamn mind. And I think that people overhyped it because like I, I don't know. Like they overhyped it, right? Because they had that moment that I wish I had, right? They had that moment where they played the game, got to that level, and it hit them like a fucking Mike Tyson, 1-2 punch. Whereas me, I had already listened to the song because everybody's talking about it. I watched the level, so it didn't have that much of an impact on me. But um, yeah, it was an awesome game overall. Like the way that it plays with like you know what's real, what's fake, light and dark, the two, being in the dark place, not being in the dark place, and how
Mhm.
like there are times in the game when like you don't fully know, like, are you in the dark place or are you not in the dark place? And I'm sitting here in my fucking dining room, I'm like, am I in the dark place right now in real life or is this the light place? I don't know. um yeah, it was such a good game. The story was great. I really appreciate what they did with like the multimedia of it, like with like the live action stuff, um kind of mixed in with the video game itself. I thought
Mhm.
that was really cool. One thing that kind of bugged me is like once you realize that Alan Wake's voice actor and actor
Model.
model are two separate people, it all the live action stuff, that's all I could think about, and it's so obvious. Like if you're staring at his mouth and he's talking, it's like, oh my
Mhm.
god, that's not his fucking voice, and because you can tell, because like even if you voice over something and it's you acting on camera, like you could tell that that's that person's voice, but when it's him, like you could tell it's not him, and it
Mhm.
made it hard to watch at times. Like I was like, don't look at his mouth, just don't look at his mouth. Um,
I
but yeah,
guess I'm just
overall,
used to it.
it's a great game.
Yeah.
Loved it. And now I want to play Control and Quantum Break, but
Um,
I don't think that's anytime soon for me. I just want to play them both.
you definitely should. They're both very good. Yeah, Alan Wake 2 was my number two favorite game of the year, and since we last talked about that, I did 100% the game. It's I
How hard
love
is it
it.
to go back and do that?
Uh,
Do you just like chapter select, or how does that work?
no
You just go
chapter
to your
select.
last save?
Nope, gotta start over.
No.
I
You
think.
started the whole game over?
No, I didn't. I completed it all before I went on. So there's a
Oh,
point where the game says if you go,
yeah.
this is the point of no return. At that point, I stopped and got all the collectibles and stuff.
Okay, I made a manual save at that point, so I
Then you're
should be
good.
able to load it. Okay.
You can load that. Yeah.
Okay.
Um. Yeah. No, you're
Is
good
it
then.
tedious to get all the stuff? I don't even know what's all involved. I know there's
Kind
like
of.
5 or
So
6 riddles.
you've got the riddles, the lunch boxes, the um. I mean, there's the dolls, but those are attached to the riddles. Um. There's some like other there's like charms that you have to find. Those are kind of attached to riddles. I think there's like a couple that aren't. Um, yeah, it's not bad. You can
Are
just
there are there
pull up.
achievements for beating it on certain difficulties?
No,
Let's go. Fuck yeah. I played this whole game on story mode because I'm a baby ass baby, you know that. Um
game's scary. It's a
it
very
is,
scary game.
the thing is like it's scary, but like it's more of like a mind fuck scary,
Yeah,
like a psychological scary as
mhm,
opposed to like a jump scare. Like there are jump scares at times, like
yeah,
I but it's only like 10 times throughout the whole game, maybe. Like it's not
yeah.
like I'm not walking slowly around every corner like I would in a Resident Evil game.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah,
It's a lot more thoughtful with its scares, and
yeah,
I
for
enjoy
sure.
that. Yeah, no, yeah, no, it's great. And yeah, I would say load up your old save and just like pull up a guide or something and stuff. Also, there is an upgrade you can get that I don't remember where you get it or who it is, but for one of the characters, you I think it's one of Saga's charms. It will automatically put like all resources on the map. So if you go buy a collectible, it will just show up on your map,
Oh,
and if
nice.
you like don't notice it, you can just go back to it.
Cool, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll definitely pull up a guide. That's something I'll do on like, I don't know, Sunday morning or something. I
yeah,
won't
that's
have
what
game audio on. Just let's do a
I was listening
podcast.
to a podcast doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So what I've been playing outside of that, well, I mean Prince of Persia, but I can't talk about that yet. I've also been playing. What have I been playing? I had it in my mind just a moment ago, and we got on Alan Wake 2, and now I'm distracted. I still haven't gotten back to Baldur's Gate 3. I really want to. I just haven't done it yet. I've been so focused on Prince of Persia. I don't know if I've played anything besides Overwatch.
I've been playing Fortnite Rocket Racing.
Yeah.
Um, and it's so much fun, dude. They did Psionics killed it with this.
Hmm.
It's just a fun arcade racer. And like that's all you can ask for out of something like this. A game within a game. I've been playing a lot on my Switch here with my Nitro deck. Um,
Hmm.
like during work, if I'm in a meeting that like I don't need to really pay attention to or something, I'll pop it open on there and do a race or two. I'm advancing in the ranks. I'm now ranked gold 3. Hoping to hit platinum tomorrow at some point. So yeah, moving on up.
Lethal Company is the other game I've
Lethal
been playing.
Company.
So yeah, like you said earlier, we've been playing in a different Discord with a bunch of your friends, and it's been a lot of fun. Uh, they added even more mods into our packs that we're gonna have to install to play with them.
Yeah, I'm just
Uh,
gonna hop in a Discord call with Will and tell him share my screen and have him do it for me, pretty much.
Probably. But I've been having a lot of fun with that. I've got so many TikToks that I've posted on the Game Sandwich account that are really funny. Me just being a scaredy cat. Every single time I play that game, something gets me, and I scream. And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure
terrifying.
for how quiet I normally am, I wonder if my neighbors uh, get a little worried when they hear me yell because I'm
Probably.
so scared. I'm just like ah. Uh, Last time we played, I was with Will. I want to say 2 days ago, and we got a boombox item, and I was just going through the place playing music, and we're like, "Yeah, no, we're cool." And all these other guys that were playing with us are like, "You're gonna get us killed with that." With all that sound, and we're like, "No, we're fine, we're fine." And then a coil head came out of nowhere and stopped right in front of us. We're like,
There are
ah!
there are mods that let you add your own music to the boombox,
Yeah, I've seen that.
which is really cool. Will's in the Twitch chat. He says, "Tell John to risk it for the biscuit."
We got a brisket for the biscuit. Yeah. So Spence was being very cautious when we were playing, and me and Will just started yelling at him, "You got to risk it for the biscuit!" And then I was just like, kind of just talking really fast and being like, "You got to risk it for the biscuit! You got to risk it! Get that Trisket! You get no biscuit because you didn't risk it!" Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
Spence
lot
plays
of
that game very cautiously.
He does. He doesn't. I think he has a love hate relationship with playing with me and Will in that because we just do some really stupid stuff.
I mean, you got to risk it for the biscuit. That's
You
very
gotta,
true.
gotta. But no, it's been a ton of fun, and it's. I don't play many PC games, and this is probably the first game that I'm strictly playing on PC in a long time that I'm like, yeah, I go out of my way to play this on my PC.
I wish that they would come out with a VR mode for it. I feel like it couldn't be
Will
that
was
hard for them
saying
to do.
Will was saying he wants that too. There's probably a mod for it, but nothing official. It's only one person that makes the game,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
don't
That's why,
expect
like,
that anytime
I
soon.
I don't expect that to come at all, honestly, with a one person
Yeah.
team. But yeah, it's been a ton of fun to play. I've been enjoying the hell out of it. With that, we're gonna end the show. This has been episode 251 of the Pixel Street Podcast. As always, thank you so much for watching or listening. You can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out the pinned tweet there to join our Discord server. Come say what up. Come tell us you want to play Lethal Company with us. Whatever you want to do, come say hi. Send us a picture of your dog. Tell us what you've been playing. Um, Also, subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Pixel Street Videos. That's where we post all our podcasts, Let's Plays, live streams, unboxings, you name it. It's all going up there. You can follow me on Twitter at Campo63 or twitch.tv/Campo63. John, where are you on the World Wide Web?
On Twitter, I am at Revic Shadows, and you can find my writing at gamesandwich.com. My Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown review goes live at 11 Central Time this Thursday, so check that out.
So if you're listening, you can go check out John's review now, pretty much, unless you're watching live.
Probably.
Cool.
Will,
We'll
you
be right
can't
back
check it out.
here. Will, you cannot check it out. We'll be right back here next week with episode 252 of the Pixel Street Podcast.
Bye.